She held an old photograph trembling lightly in her hand. A single tear slid quietly down her pale cheek. The dusty attic shimmered with fading golden afternoon light. She remembered nothing of the scene in that photograph. Only a distant ache pulsed deep within her memory. She closed her eyes and summoned the tear she needed. It pooled gently upon the weathered surface of the photo. The air around her trembled with unseen, ancient magic. She whispered a name forgotten beneath years of silence. The tear glowed softly, melting barriers between past and present. Soft music drifted through the attic from unseen speakers. It was the lullaby her mother used to sing gently. She wiped fresh tears, unlocking the memory locked inside. The attic filled with warmth of a late summer evening. She smelled lavender sachets tucked in old cedar drawers. She recognized the scent from a bedtime she nearly forgot. Another tear touched the photograph, releasing whispers of childhood laughter. She heard playful voices calling from the corners of darkness. Memories of sunlit gardens bloomed within her mind's dusty corners. She wept for moments lost in the passage of time. Each tear unlocked a fragment of her own hidden story. She summoned the laughter of girls playing by an oak. Their giggles drifted around her like floating silver ribbons. She wept for a promise made under crimson autumn leaves. The words returned to her like echoes of a dream. She pressed another tear to the photo's fragile surface. The attic floorboards creaked under the weight of returning memories. She remembered her first dance beneath the summer moonlight. Stars glimmered overhead in her mind like distant lanterns. She cried for the hug she never gave her sister. A warm embrace wrapped around her shoulders in response. She summoned the taste of honey on warm morning bread. Sweet comfort blossomed in her throat and down her spine. She wept for the farewell she failed to express before dawn. His voice brushed past her like a lingering breeze. She summoned the sound of raindrops on her old window. It rained in her memory as tears fell onto glass. She wept for the secret she never dared to reveal. Truth shimmered in her heart like a fragile, glowing gem. She summoned the dance of fireflies under midnight's velvet sky. Their luminescence pulsed softly in tune with her racing pulse. She wept for the promise to chase her own wild dreams. Ambition returned to her spirit like a spark in darkness. She summoned the melody her grandmother once played on piano. Notes filled the attic with bittersweet beauty and longing. She cried for the time she refused to forgive herself. Forgiveness whispered home in the hush after her tears. She summoned the sight of her childhood treehouse in spring. Blossoms rained down around her in gentle pastel showers. She cried for the day she forgot how to believe. Belief blossomed in her throat like the sound of hope. She summoned the scent of pine needles and morning frost. Cold freshness brushed her cheeks like a waking winter dawn. She wept for the friend whose laughter she failed to cherish. Their echo rippled through the attic beams like tender bells. She summoned the glimpse of her own reflection as a child. Innocence stared back at her from soft, untroubled eyes. She cried for the promise she wrote in secret journals. Golden words fluttered back to life in her memory's embrace. She summoned the warmth of a long-forgotten campfire Saturday. Flames crackled around her in imaginary, comforting radiance. She beckoned tears to bring closure to past regrets. Regret melted away as each moment found its place again. She summoned the feeling of a first, heartfelt apology accepted. Peace settled like gentle snowfall upon her weary spirit. She wept for the lullaby she once forgot completely. It poured through her mind in soft, familiar cadences. She summoned the bright ribbon of a summer carnival parade. Music and colors danced in her mind's awakened eyes. She spoke aloud the vow she wrote as a child. Innocent promise vibrated in the attic in tender resonance. She sighed as tears completed their sacred alchemy within her. Love surged through her veins in renewed, radiant waves. She steeled her heart for tomorrow with tears as guide. Hope flickered in her chest like a stubborn candle flame. She descended the attic stairs, carrying both sorrow and joy. Photographs glistened softly in her gaze as cherished treasures. She vowed to honor each memory with courage and grace. Tears had rewritten her past into a richer, living tapestry. She embraced the dawn outside, her spirit fully restored.